This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa internet world. How we doing today? It is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. You guys are checking us out on the Bama Central YouTube channel. You're on our own social media machines, having a great day. I hope you're having a great hump day as we are live on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Sorry about this morning. It was quick in and out, but if you did join us this morning, we talked for about 15, 20 minutes to the Castiles, Jeremiah and Caleb Castile, about nothing but a winner. So very, very appreciative of the Castiles for joining me. You can find that already on the podcast platforms, on the YouTube channel, if you want to hear from Jeremiah and Caleb Castile. I appreciate everybody jumping on early for that. But we had to get out of here. We couldn't do a full episode because we had to go to practice. I had to get my mouthpiece boiled. I had to get my new cleats. Had to get my pads fitted right and get on the practice field. And so that's where we were. That's where we've spent most of our day so far. We appreciate everybody giving us some time in the afternoon. We're here. We're not in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. We're in parts unknown in Northport, Alabama. You can call Derek still for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. We appreciate Derek for putting us on each and every day, but just figured it'd be easier for the next 2 days to do it from the house as we are in full football camp mode. I'm very, very gracious and excited to be joined by our friend Mason Woods. Follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. He's going to be out there bright and early on Saturday. I'm not going Saturday. Mason's going on Saturday for you guys. So we're going to have a lot of fun as camp got started today. We invite you in on the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. You can call us right there. Leave us a voicemail, your thoughts on fall camp, some reporting already hitting the wire on BamaCentral.com. You can read our man Hunter DeCiver and Will Miller's pieces already. I put a piece out about the kicker, Connor Talty. We'll talk about the kicker here in just a little bit. We spent some time with Kalen DeBoer as well, so it was busy morning. Mason Woods, how is life in your parts unknown? You ready to get into fall camp?
Oh, yeah, very, very ready. I'm not above admitting to everyone that the reason we are not in the Derek Daniels studio is indeed because I have misplaced the charger for my laptop and cannot use it at this moment. I am at home on my home computer, so it may look a little nicer. So I guess that's a plus. My camera setup is maybe a little different now, so that's working out well. But I'll own up to that one. I have lost my computer charger. I'm sure. I placed an order for a new one last night. I'm sure the day that it arrives, I will miraculously find the one I lost. But either way, we should be ready to go by Monday. So we'll be back in the studio. But yeah, no, on this day I am very, very excited. I am giddy with excitement. The opening day of fall camp is just like, it's like Christmas. You get all of these clips and all of these tiny little tidbits of information that you can extrapolate and piece together your own narratives for everything. And it's just very, very exciting.
So that's where we were this morning, 9 o'clock on the practice field, and we were out there for about 15, 20 minutes filming everything that we could. You can find it on the Bama Central YouTube channel. There are 3 different practice footage clips if you guys are wanting to see what we saw. Look, what we saw is just like we always see it. The boys are athletic. The fellas are strong. The fellas are fast. Everybody is a 4 or 5 star athlete, is a premier athlete. And they were going through the early part of practice, which is basically just the drills, the drill station,
basically a warm up.
Right, exactly.
It is for lack of a better term, this is a warm up of, hey guys, here's how we play football. Everybody remember? All right, now once these guys leave, we're going to get into the install.
Yes. It's can you hit the pad?
Can you shoot your arms? Can you drive your feet? Yeah, it's the fundamentals.
Oh, and
at this level, these guys know it.
Ground.
Sure,
don't tackle anybody. We can't get anybody hurt. We're doing thud rules here, so we just want you to wrap up. Make sure your fits are in the right place. Make sure your heads are in the right places, and make sure you know that we are still playing football at the University of Alabama. So there was, I mean, it was 10 minutes. It was 12 minutes. It was 15 minutes, maybe max. And what do we see? I saw Ty Simpson giving lots of people high fives, throwing footballs, little 5-yard out routes, handing the ball off nicely. I saw Keelan Russell and Austin Mack both kind of alternating back and forth in the second quarterback role through the drills. I saw a big old stinking brace on Deontay Lawson's leg. I saw a big old stinking brace on Jalen Hale's leg, but I didn't see anyone in a black jersey that wasn't playing quarterback. So everybody seems to be active to a point. Now, they may have slipped black jerseys on to some players after we left, after they got into real contact. But remember, this is day one. There's no leg pads. It's all helmet and shoulder pads. Coach DeBoer called them spider pads.
Yeah, I've never heard that. We always called it shells.
Yeah, shells for us too. But I think the shell, I guess it upgrades the spider pads because they're wearing the girdles with the thigh pad, right?
I guess, sure. I mean, it's basically a full pad set at that point. The only thing you're missing is the knee pads that nobody even wears anyway.
Yeah, the knee pad and the belt. You're tying your belt up.
Sure.
they're all out there in basically gym shorts. But the quarterbacks, for the 10 minutes we were out there, they're whipping the ball around. They're nice. You see what they see. They're basically making basic throws on air, and all seem to be throwing with accuracy. All seeming to be living up to their recruiting ranking. Yes, they can throw on air, delivering the football. My biggest takeaway was body size for two players. Body size for Dijon Lee. We've talked about that in a big way all throughout the summer. But we haven't talked about Caleb Edwards much.
Sure.
We haven't talked about Caleb Edwards much. And I've got him listed right here. Number 81 on your roster. Freshman from California. 6'6". Okay, monstrous. 6'6", 264-pound tight end.
Is this Darnell Washington again? Does Alabama have their own version of that now?
Big old man, just huge. And there was an army of tight ends out there, unlike the spring practice period where it was just Jay Lindsey. How many tight end positions can you play?
I was happy to see my guard Marshall Pritchett back on the field. Didn't know, we were not super clear on what his injury was in the spring. Weren't really sure exactly how serious it was going to be. Glad to see that he's back on the field. And like you mentioned, not wearing a black jersey.
Yeah, no, all the tight ends were healthy to a point. Coach DeBoer after practice saying that some of them were ramping up, were some of them were what did he say? Gaining volume, adding volume to their workload, and he was specifically referencing Josh Cuevas and Danny Lewis. But he said, we've got more tight ends than we know what to do with at this point. And because in the spring they hadn't won. And even, I think at the end of spring, Jay Lindsey came down with a knock. And so it was basically William Sanders, can you play tight end a little bit to get us through spring practice? But you got them all out there now. Cuevas, Danny Lewis, you got Samarco, you got Brody Dalton, your boy Marshall Pritchett, true freshman.
Probably not going to be much of a difference maker this year. Maybe a special teams guy.
Yeah, I think you're looking at blockers. I mean, who can get nasty in the blocking game? Because one thing I didn't realize, obviously Robert Utes in the offense was a great blocker, fullback, H-back type. Sure. But Robbie Utes has been, and we might as well go ahead and get into special teams. Robbie Utes has been the personal protector for the punter for the last 4 years.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's something I have not even considered. I always saw him back there, knew that was his job, but that is a job that we have not even really pondered.
So you got a new long snapper, new punter, new place kicker, new holder because Burnip was the holder, new personal protector. I'm just it's going to be interesting on special teams this year.
Three-phase game. Special teams can make or break a good team.
So there wasn't much standing out. Obviously, Freddie Roach was hollering this, that, and the other at everybody, as Freddie Roach is one to do. I wouldn't take that.
In watching some of the clips that were posted to the Bama Central YouTube, I'm not sure if it was him, but just by the few times I've heard him, I think it could pick out his voice, and he had some choice words for. I don't know who he was yelling at, but he was getting after him.
Yeah, so if you want to hear some of those choice words, you can find them on the Bama Central YouTube channel.
Get you fired up.
But I don't think that that's any indication of, Billy defensive lineman doing a bad job. I
No, I
think that's
think
just
he's
who
just
Freddie Roach is.
I think he's just a fiery guy who knows what he has a certain level of expectation for his players, and when they do not reach it, he lets them know.
Okay, yeah. So we got some comments already on our practice video. Deontay Lawson looking smooth. You got a lot of people commenting roll tide, all that sort of stuff. And defensive line looking violent from Leonard Fletcher 1422. I'm getting excited. He finishes his comment. So you can see the entire Kalen DeBoer press conference as well right there. He spent 15 minutes with the media. Let's go. Let's talk about the offensive line a little bit, because I think we got a little better picture at left guard, as Gino Vandermark seemed like he was the man at left guard.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that me and you had kind of thrown out there to be an option for, I don't know how long going into, this practice now. So it's not necessarily a surprise. I personally I do like Elasa Lennon. I think I'm just rooting for him just because of the story and everything, being an international player coming here. Like, I think it's just a neat story, and I would like to see him get, earn that job. But if he didn't, that it is what it is. Gino, clearly they feel, at least from what we've seen, that Gino is the guy there. And if that's the way it's going to be, he's shown us to be a pretty good player. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, Gino was basically taking most of the first team reps from what we saw. And again, it's only 15 minutes. They could rotate these guys right out as soon as we're done. Like, it's no problem. And so the 15 minutes that we saw could just be construed for the media.
Yep.
Like, so you got to take a little bit of grain of salt there. I do think Cam Dewberry is probably your next guy up right there. You heard lots of compliments for Cam Dewberry for coming into the program, focusing on his body type, losing some weight, getting himself up to the Alabama standard. And we'll see if that pays off for him in terms of playing time this year. But I think that, it was a good first day. That's all you can really say if you're trying to be objective. Because, look, you can read your sites and look at all your news outlets, and some people will go out there and say, well, Billy Sportsball looks like he's going to be an All-American. And I just don't think that's fair. I just don't think that is a fair place to go with what little that we saw and the circumstance of these gentlemen all being, helmets and shoulder pads. Nobody's tackling to the ground. It's all kind of simulated a bit. I watched the inside linebackers a bit, Mason. I spent a good bit of time looking at the inside linebackers because we've talked about Deontay Lawson's health and really Justin Jefferson's ability to play the run.
That's kind of your one question mark that we've pointed to.
I found it pretty interesting. They had the inside linebackers broken into two groups. It was like two separate groups, really. It was Deontay and Justin Jefferson, Nikai Hill-Green and Caden Jones in one group. And then you had Luke Metz, QB Reese, Duke Johnson, and Abdul Sanders, all in the other group. And I don't really know if that was indicative of the two gaps between experience or not, or if it was just a way to get more hands-on with the group to split them into, because they split what they were doing. At one point it was one group is hitting a simulated fullback, hitting a blocker, somebody taking on a blocker, getting off the blocker, getting to the running back, and then the other group was dropping into coverage, kind of coverage fits with their partner. And so I don't know if it was indicative of, hey, we're just splitting these guys up because of experience, or if it was we're splitting these guys up because it allows us to get more work. It allows the four people who aren't operating in the drill to go do something else. Keeps the lines shorter so the reps go quicker.
It's probably, a bit of both, I would imagine. Just by the names that you mentioned, it does kind of clearly seem like an A and B team there with the linebackers, not due to like a talent level, just an experience level, like you said. If we get more opportunities to watch the inside linebackers, I would imagine you're probably going to see one or two guys plucked from each group and swapped around here and there just to get a taste of what they look like with this team or that team. But it's, the guys that you mentioned as the kind of group A there probably are your starters. And we've known that for a while now.
Excuse me, having to reply to somebody real quick. It was a good first day.
There's just not. Yeah, I mean, it's what we expected. Not a lot that you're really able to take out from it, other than good day. Seemingly, knock on wood, fingers crossed, everything like that. Nobody got hurt. Everybody was fine today. Everything went smoothly, and that's the best you can say.
So let's go back to special teams, because I think that is a huge area of concern of mine. And
even more so now that you brought up that point.
Yeah, Connor Talty, let's just talk specifically to place kicker.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the place kicker, and it's Talty, it's Reed Schuback, and it is a sophomore from Northridge. It is Tucker Cornelius. That all are kind of your options at place kicker. You've got 5 extra points between the 3 of them. And obviously Connor Talty manned the kickoff duties last year and did fine, did well.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I mean, no complaints in the kickoff department last year. I was doing our article. I think he took 76 kickoffs and had 41 touchbacks. And now not every kickoff is meant to be a touchback either. Some of them are meant to be really, really high in the air and force the returner to make a decision. So not every kickoff is designed to be a touchback, but he still had 41 touchbacks last season. So strong enough leg. But and maybe there's no reason to be, but I was just talking with Hunter DeCiver as we're having lunch. My confidence is fairly low in the place kicking department. And it's really the only area of the team to where you ask me, and my confidence is below a 5. We were playing this game. What's your confidence? And Hunter was at 5, and I said, "Oh, I'm probably a 4. I think I'm probably, high 3s, low 4s. I'm concerned about what it's going to look like. Now, you didn't ask Graham to do too much, despite how much you probably incentivized him to come to Tuscaloosa last year. It ended up 8 of 10 on field goals, which isn't horrid. But it's not what you wanted.
And I don't recall any of those being, real moonshots or anything.
And clutch kicks either, as far as, winning the game or that sort of thing. I'm at a 4. So, yeah, that's how I'm going to throw this to you, Mason. With Connor Talty, he's a redshirt sophomore, right? And out of Chicago, was one of the best kickers in the class of 2023. So, you look at the Coles kicking camp rankings from 2023. He's sitting there first, second, third in that range. So the pedigree or the talent is there. But goodness gracious, what's your confidence level in Connor Talty as you're going into the year?
Ah, man. I mean, I think I'm right there with you, and it's like you said, it's not really anything to do with him as a player. It's just so much unknown. I have such a we know this very well on this show. I have a very hard time putting any bit of confidence in anything that I have to project on, and I have to it's unknown, and just about every piece in this special teams room, whether it is kicker or punter, your holder, the guy protecting the punter, the guy protecting everything is question marks. We really don't know what we're getting. And, there's just very little evidence to project any bit of confidence there. The kicks that you did take last year, like we said, sure they were fine, but it was, from what I remember, I would imagine they were pretty much all exclusively 40 yards and in, and they were not in very crunch time moments. They were pretty inconsequential in the heat of the game. So I just don't know. I'm probably I'm probably right there with you I'm probably somewhere between 4 and 5. I think the pedigree, like you said, is certainly there, and that gives me a bit of confidence, but I got to see it before I really buy into it. And, I truly don't know how much we'll even see it this year, though. If this offense is as explosive as we expect it to be with the talent that they have everywhere, I don't think that you're really going to have to rely on your kicking game a ton.
I certainly hope that that's the case.
Sure.
And remind me, Mason, scratch this word down, gimmies. And we'll get to the quarterbacks, one of Kalen DeBoer's comments on gimmies. but we need to keep talking about the special teams just a little bit longer. One thing to note with the punter, he basically was up at the podium today and saying punter is the most wide open spot of the three. I think he feels pretty good about the long snapper. And I think he said that Connor Talty was solid today. He was really solid today instead of, consistent. And so maybe my 4 is unfounded. Maybe my 4 is ignorance and will be thrown back in my face a couple of weeks in after he bombs a couple 48-yarders.
It's a 4 with a very open mind that can be changed to a 7, 8, somewhere around there.
Yeah, if your first big kick is in Athens,
you shoot me to a 10 right there that week, buddy. Feel great. You knock down about a 52-yarder, somewhere in the third quarter or something like that. Oh yeah, that's even better. Yeah. Oh yeah, give me that.
Goes up 10-7 at the end of the first half. 52-yarder. Yeah. That would be exactly what you're looking for. But I had somebody point this out to me. Obviously, we're trying to replace James Burnip, who ends up being with the New Orleans Saints and looks like he's going to maybe make the roster and be the Saints starting punter. Excuse me. Last year,
might be the starting quarterback. Who knows with the Saints?
Who dat? Last year for Alabama, James Burnip averaged 45.4 yards per punt. The year before, 47.6. So right over that 45, that 40 mark. The last 3 years, his in 22, he was at 42.3. So just 42, or 40 between 42 and 48 over the last 3 years. Blake Dowd, coming from Colorado School of Mines. Last year averaged 46.6 yards per kick, and the year prior, 45.7. So, Blake Dowd looks numbers-wise like he could be comparable to James Burnip.
Yeah.
Now, what percent? We're not scientists. But we are familiar with the Mile High City. And
I was thinking the same thing, and it's probably the dumbest thought ever. We are probably so stupid for thinking about this, but I just like right there in the back of my brain is like, yeah, but he was kicking up in that thin air in Colorado. Oh man, I don't know. That ball kind of carries out. I don't know. I don't know if I can put 100% confidence in numbers from last year coming from Colorado when half of them, all of his home games are potentially slightly inflated. I'd have to look at the splits there and really kind of dive a bit deeper into it because I don't know. My dumb idiot sports fan brain thinks that there might be something there. But he played half his games on the road also. So, that, and it's an average of his whole season. So you have to imagine it couldn't have been too significant of a drop off or else his average would have been fairly bad. So I think you're at least getting someone who can get you, I'll say 85% of what Burnip was giving you in the distance department. And I think that's a fair line to set for him, given what we, the bit of evidence we have.
So we'll see what happens. Obviously, but you bring in Alex Asparuhov as a freshman out of Fresno, California. So we'll see what ends up happening with him. And I think that in the summer he was dealing with some sort of a very minor injury. But I think that he is healthy and ready to compete for Alabama's starting punter position. So I'm pretty concerned. I'm at an 8. I'm at a 9-ish on confidence for Alabama's defense. Mm-hmm. I'm at a 7.8, 8.4 for confidence on the offense. With room to get all the way up to 9.5, really, just like the offense the defense, I can move up. Special teams, though, Mason, I'm probably a solid 4.
Yeah,
I'm feeling like that's even too high.
I mean, it does feel eerily similar to not too long ago when Alabama fans were going into every season just. Well, hope we don't got to kick any field goals this year because they're going to miss. And that was a tough time. That was a really tough spot to be in. Now, look, those teams, many of them, still went on to win lots of games, some national championships even. So it's not going to be, it doesn't necessarily have to make or break a great football team, but it absolutely can.
So we'll see what ends up happening. Obviously, a lot more practices to go before you get to game day. 31 days away from kickoff, and this was the first day of practice. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 more practices until you open up a regular game week. And you've got a couple of scrimmages. Some of those practices will be scrimmages, live scrimmages in Bryant-Denny Stadium. So there's still a long runway for this team to improve, this team to get ready. 31 days away from kicking it off against Florida State. Let's take a quick pivot real quick to the quarterbacks. But before we do, I want to tell you about our friend Derek Daniel at State Farm. You can call Derek for all of your insurance needs, 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. Home, life, auto insurance needs, renter's insurance needs. Great guy. 2 weeks ago, helped me with a big mess at my home, got me back online. That's why we're able to do this show right here today. And while we're able to do the show in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios, call him for all of your insurance needs. He is still hiring, looking to hire 2 positions in his office. So if you've got any interest in working in the insurance realm, you can call Derek as well and submit your resume and talk about the positions that are available in his office. 205-758-3391.
Northport Lions Club and St. Mark Church present a free health fair in honor of Dr. Norman and Jean Carlson, Saturday, August 23rd, 8:30 till noon. That'll be in the St. Mark Family Life Center. Northport citizens can get free eye, hearing, and blood pressure screenings, diabetes testing, and more. Now, the first 100 people get a free biscuit, and free Domino's pizza slices will be served at 11, along with free snow cones and drinks from Buffalo Rock. Sponsors include Alabama Lions Site, Ascent Audiology, DCEH Regional Medical Center, West Alabama Food Bank, Special Olympics, Northport Police Department, U of A Institute for Rural Health, the Alabama Department of Public Health, and others. A Northport Fire Department truck will be on site, and there will be lots of fun kids' activities. The Northport Lions St. Mark Health Fair. See you Saturday, August 23rd.
All right, let's keep this thing rolling on a Wednesday. We're having an afternoon show, and we'll let you know tomorrow's show will be an afternoon show as well. There won't be an early morning portion like there was today. We did about 20 minutes with Caleb Castile and Jeremiah Castile, their brothers, Caleb's brother, Simeon, and I think Jeremiah Jr. Were the other 2 brothers. Were great players here at the Capstone. Jeremiah, obviously the MVP of the Liberty Bowl. Coach Bryant's last game, 3 interceptions and forced a fumble in that Liberty Bowl to send Coach Bryant out a winner. We spent about 20 minutes with them today as they are highlighting their project, Nothing But a Winner, the movie that we've talked about a couple of different times on this show. I encourage you guys to go look up your tickets. You can find it, nothingbutawinner.com. Find all the theaters that it is playing in. I really do encourage you to watch it this weekend. It's going to be all throughout the Southeast and Alabama. You can find it playing in select theaters throughout the weekend. And just if you're an Alabama fan, or if you're looking to get inspired, or just take your family to a really good movie, I would encourage you guys to check out Nothing But a Winner and this morning's episode with Jeremiah and Caleb Castile. We'll keep rolling here, Mason, and we'll talk quarterbacks. We'll give the people what they need. I know we pretty much have beaten the dead horse to death with the quarterbacks, but I think that maybe there's I think that it's not as over as I have been painting the picture over the last couple of weeks. Now, I do think the picture is close to being done. I think that you can see the canvas and see how the picture is going to come together with Ty Simpson leading this team forward. But I don't think the paint is dry, or to use Coach Saban's analogy, I don't think the cake is out of the oven, sitting on the counter, resting, ready to be cut into. I think it's still in the oven just a little bit. I believe, and nothing that I saw today, this is not really from anything I saw in the 10 minutes. Ty was high-fiving everybody. Keelan was high-fiving everybody. Austin Mack even was getting up and getting everybody rah-rah and keeping the drills going at a high pace. So all three quarterbacks from where I was sitting 20 yards away showed good camaraderie with the team. But I think that in these 3 weeks, you're going to give Austin Mack, give Keelan Russell as many opportunities as they can to close the gap on Ty Simpson. And not because they don't like Ty, but because I think they want to see, push Ty to a further level. Hey, man, you're playing good, but these guys are playing really good too. You got to play better. You got to play better. You got to do it even more. I think Coach DeBoer said some things that were pretty interesting today when he did talk about the quarterback room. He gave you the generic slop of they've all taken steps through the summer. A lot of just confidence that they have because they're more experienced and this, that, and the other. All the stuff. People are going to latch on to his quote about Keelan Russell. He said,
I latched on to.
Yeah. They've all become very comfortable, is what he said. It's subtle stuff. But he said, probably Keelan's going to be the one that you're going to see the biggest jump naturally. And I feel like that was good. And people are going to make that out to be like, oh, wow, he's taking a huge jump. But you're still operating. He's a true freshman still.
Yes, that's all he meant by that statement was, hey, this guy was in high school a few months ago, and now he looks like a college quarterback. That's basically it.
And people, well, he's got to be the one to take the biggest jump. No, it doesn't mean that the big jump is going to land him over Ty or over Austin Mack. It just means that he's coming, exactly as you said, Texas high school football, really good, really high level, into
the highest level of college football.
Yes. With an offensive mind in Grubb, DeBoer, Sheridan, Jamarcus Shepard, an offensive collective of minds that are, hey, man, this is some 300 level bleep. Can you keep up with it?
Grubb was this is a man that was in the NFL a season ago, and now he is coaching a kid who was in high school a season ago.
Yeah, so I don't think that quote is something to be latched on to, but people will. Further on, he said, but I feel like, he's making quick decisions, not sitting there and thinking too much, Russell. But I felt like all of them did. I think Ty, we talked about all the quarterbacks, just give me the ones that should be 100%, making those plays all the time. I really felt like he did that. Ty Simpson's got probably more opportunities because of the way that the plays develop to have more of those gimmies, and those gimmies add up. Gimmies are 5-yard gains that turn into 15 and 20 and sometimes explosive, and they keep the chains moving. I like the mindset of our quarterbacks because you can trust your quarterback to go through his progression and be okay with checking it down and not forcing something. You can call, as a play caller, a lot more balls down the field and know that it's not going to be an incomplete pass or explosive play. There's going to be a progression, and it's going to be some type of movement down the field. It's going to put you in manageable downs and distances, whether second, third, or fourth. Did you hear a little criticism in the previous quarterback and a lot of hope in Ty Simpson in that quote?
Maybe a touch. But I mean, I don't think this is anything new. This is all exactly what we've known about Ty Simpson. That's the reason he's been the quarterback one this whole time, is because he takes the easy stuff. He succeeds on the gimmies. The ones that you should get 100% of the time, he gets them. He might not do the extravagant 60-yard bombs downfield like the other two guys do occasionally, But those other two guys throw some interceptions here and there, and they don't do those gimmies 100%. So that's why Ty has this job. We've known this. I've known this. It just is what it is. Personally, I'll pick the mystery box over the $1,000 every time. I'm just that kind of. That's just how I am. But I think to be a great quarterback, you have to be able to do both. And Ty, up to this point, has very obviously shown them that he can do the gimmies. And I think he's got a touch of being able to do the other thing as well. I just think it's not necessarily on the level of Keelan and Austin Mack. But again, you have to have that baseline of you have to be able to do the 5-yard completions, the 8-yard completions, the little, bubble screens and you got to be able to do those. And, for whatever reason, Mack and Keelan Russell have not earned that level of confidence from the coaching staff yet.
Well, I think it's a sense of timing. It's a sense of the college defenses and how quickly you've got to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 1 to 2 to check down, 1 to 2 to 3 to check down. And I think the little bit that we've seen from Ty through his college experience, maybe he was a little quick to go to the check down in some of these instances. But I think that in developing, and obviously they're seeing a lot more than we are. Yeah. I think that he's pushing down the field a bit, but also getting a sense of comfortability in, I can hang out and wait on 1 for a second, but as soon as my timer runs out, bam, I've got to move to 2 to 3 to 4, and I've got to move through my progression. And look, this doesn't need to be a Bash Jalen Milroe hour, but for him, it was just hold it, wait. Maybe Ryan's going to come open way deep. Maybe Isaiah Bond's going to come open way deep. Maybe, and it was just like no sense in moving through the progression. And obviously, oh shoot, I'm out of time. Well, where's my check down? Or I'm just pulling it down, or I've already gotten sacked.
Yeah,
and so the difference is going to be. I think the difference is going to be astounding this season with Ty Simpson playing on time. Now, will he be the most dynamic quarterback? Maybe not. Maybe not. But just the ability to hit the gimmies, to work through the progression, and to just put your athletes in good positions. Like DeBoer said, you hit the gimmies, they turn into 5 to 8 to 12-yard run to 12-yard plays, and you're staying on time. How many?
Mac Jones became a first-round pick off of that. Right. The man is a millionaire because of that right there, because he took the gimmies.
I think that for Ty Simpson, it's all there to have a great season. It's all there to have a great season as long as he works through the progressions and keeps the offense. How tired of it? How tiring was it last year, Mason? First down incompletion. Second down.
Run.
Yeah, Jalen rolls out and has a 1 or 2 yard run, and it's 3rd and 7. Or none of that positive happens and rolls out and gets forced out of the pocket, and it's a 3-yard loss, and it's 3rd and 13.
Yeah.
And it's just like you can't live that way offensively. It might be a 60-yard bomb shot.
When Ryan got open though, and he made that pass. Woo! Oh, man.
It's no way to live. It's no way to live. You got to feed yourself every day. Mason, you eat 2 to 3 to 4 meals a day, don't you?
Try to.
2, 3.
Yeah.
Right? I'm waking up. I'm having breakfast. I'm having an afternoon bite, and I'm having a dinner bite. I got to eat consistently. I can't just for
the most part, it does generally just become one large meal at around 5 or 6 o'clock. So, I'm really the wrong person to give this analogy to.
Dang it.
I'm just falling into Keelan Russell right now, or Austin Mack, the big play. Give me the one big play, baby.
Oh man. Your body, I mean, look, this is not Mason Wood Health Hour. But your body's going to love you a lot more if you wake up, have something small, have a little afternoon snack, and have a dinner as well.
Yeah, but how much more fun is it to just eat all the good stuff at once?
Big plate of nachos, tacos, quesadilla.
There we go.
Give me the cake as well.
Yeah.
3 or 4 beers, and then you go to bed.
Wonderful.
All right, fair. There is something nice about the gorge, I will admit, but your body functions much better. The Alabama offense will function much better if you eat small meals, and sometimes, the wife, the girlfriend, you yourself put together a great dinner, and you're like, man, what a
We
meal!
just, we just have to, just gotta wait it out until you get 3 of those meals a day with Keelan Russell, or maybe Austin Mack, but seeming less and less likely by the day. I think Keelan Russell is delivering you 3 of those gorge meals a day.
Mason, I'm about out of gas for today. We already gave the people 20 minutes this morning talking to Caleb and Jeremiah Castillo. You got any other practice questions or things that you noticed on the Bama Central YouTube channel, or even in the writings that we did after after talking to Caleb DeBoer? Will Miller wrote about Coach DeBoer's comments on Deontay Lawson. I know that my man Hunter DeCyber is going to have a piece about the left guard. I wrote about the place kicker. And that's pretty much the gambit of all the big news. Anything else on your plate that you saw from the morning practice period you want to talk about?
I mean, I continue to be at least moderately intrigued by the play of Wilkin Formby, just seeing how well he is able to hold on to that job, because seemingly, I guess he has it. That's kind of what it seems like at this point from everything I've read this morning, everything I've kind of seen from people who were able to be there. But it's just going to be whether or not he's able to keep it, because if he's not able to keep it, you get into kind of a situation where, we're maybe having to bounce a lot of guys around. Maybe that's Gino moving from left guard back over to right tackle, and then some, it creates a bit of a headache there. So, I'm continuing to kind of just be interested by that situation. Not that we really have anything to go off of today.
Just building on that, I think that your fascination with Olaus is warranted. But I think Olaus is going to kind of be the reverse Gino Vandemark. Gino last season was essentially your primary backup to both the guard positions and the center spot. I think Olaus is going to be your primary backup to both the tackle positions and likely your guard as well. I think Olaus is your backup to both tackle spots. And I think Cam Dewberry is probably your backup to both guard spots, and then vice versa. Olaus could play guard as well. So I think your fascination with Olaus, as you mentioned earlier in the show, is still warranted. And as it relates to Wilkin, we obviously didn't want health for everyone on every team, but I think Wilkin has a pretty much an inside track to holding that right tackle job and not letting it go. We'll keep watching the offensive line. We'll keep watching everything. We'll be back at practice tomorrow. 9:20 is our practice time. So be looking for the Bama Central YouTube channel about 9:40, about 9:50. We're going to have another set of 3 videos, and each of the videos will have different aspects to them. We will hear tomorrow. Our availability is with Ryan Grubb and offensive players, so they might end up giving us Wilkin Formby. We'll see. I bet you that they end up giving us Jeremy Bernard, Jam Miller, Jeremy Jam, Parker Brailsford, and maybe
Cuevas?
one more. Maybe Cuevas. Yeah, maybe Cuevas for sure. So those should be the videos that you're looking for on the Bama Central YouTube channel. What we will do on our show is be live about 1:30 again, just like we were today, because we got to handle the real business for Alabama Crimson Tide on SI before we cut it up and have some fun with you on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Mason, I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you being willing to pivot. We are likely to still have Sam Utu join the show on Friday. I'm really hopeful that still happens. I know we teased that for our Wednesday show, but your boy didn't do a very good job looking at the schedule and planning things out. So I asked him if he wanted to move to Friday. I got a soft okay. I'll double check that, and hopefully we will be able to get to know Sam Utu on Friday. So it's a big week ahead of us still on the show. There will be no early morning portion of tomorrow's show. We'll probably go closer to an hour after after practice kind of wraps up tomorrow, about 1:30. So I appreciate everybody joining us, and I hope you're having a great Wednesday. I hope you're excited about fall camp, just as excited about fall camp as we are. Follow Mason Woods at @MAWoods_. Follow me at Joe Gaither6. Send us your comments, questions, queries, or complaints on whatever social media machine you like. You can always leave a voicemail at 205-462-7340, extension 800. And we'll talk to you tomorrow on The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.